Good evening. My name is Duran Inci. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Optimum 7. We're an internet marketing and technology consultation company. We'll start the presentation. We have internship opportunities if anybody's interested. There are some flyers here. So at the end, you can just grab one, okay?
We're going to pass it around now.
Yeah, I'll pass it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Duran, by the way, are you going to make the presentation available
Yes.
for our class?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'll send you the information.
Excellent, thank you.
So just to do an outline of what we'll cover today, who is Optimum 7? We're going to discuss how online marketing and how online PR actually works in the real world. We're going to discuss some online brands and their social media strategies specifically. We're going to also discuss the Google era and the algorithms for search, which is very popular right now. Everything that's going on started with search, and we'll review how it has actually developed. We'll talk about authority and reputation management, very hot topic for the past 2 to 3 years or so. We'll talk about your online reputation and what you should be doing while you're at school or professionally in your positions. And we'll also discuss social media for businesses, for startup companies as well, how they can leverage social media for their businesses. And then we have a plan of action that we suggest that you follow at the end to basically improve your authority and your reputation. Go ahead. So what does Optimum 7 do? We do internet marketing strategies. We do customized strategies for our clients. We have clients anywhere from $500,000 revenue all the way to $500 million revenue. We do search engine optimization. It has changed a lot in the past 5 years or so. Search engine optimization is basically how you are able to show up on search for a specific keyword. So if I type discount perfume, there are probably 100 million results. How do you go to the first page of Google for that keyword? We do paid search. Paid search is also called pay-per-click. Google is the Overture. Actually, Yahoo Overture came up with this first, and then Google AdWords made it really popular. 60% of Google's revenue actually comes from paid advertising. We'll discuss custom programming and design, which fits very nicely into integrations. Everything that's happening, we all use Facebook, we all use different functionalities like comments, so how that actually ties in with the integration throughout the web. We do also social media and authority optimization. So we handle social media accounts for our clients, and we also handle their authorities online. Online PR, again, for the past 2-3 years, things have really changed. Google made their algorithm really difficult to figure out, and they're going more for relationships now. So online PR is really important. Outreach is very important, even if you're doing online marketing, internet marketing, or if you're doing traditional marketing. And the relationship building, we do a lot of that for our clients as well. And we do viral marketing, ambush marketing. Go ahead. And that's just some of the services. So we're going to review the development of search. These are the different numbers that you have starting from 98. Obviously, Google started becoming really popular in 99 and 2000. These are the different searches per day. This is actually about close to 2.53 billion searches annually today. So it just gives you how the usage has changed and how search is really valuable still online. Go ahead. And you'll also see, when you look at Twitter, starting from, really they started getting popular in 2008, you'll see that social media is actually in the same trend as well. It's definitely increasing. 60,000 searches per second, 3.5 million per minute, 5 billion per day. You're getting about 150 billion searches per month on Google alone. And Google has, in the United States, about 70% of the the search volume is done through Google. In Europe, the numbers are a lot higher. It's actually at the 90%. The only difference for this is China, and China, Baidu is actually has the largest market, as well as Yandex in Russia. But Google is basically dominating the world, as well as the United States. And you're looking at a crazy number like 1.8 trillion. So when we look at a Google search, when we go to Google and we search for student, we get 1.5 billion results. We make the search a little bit more specific. We search for college student, we'll get about 500 million results. When we search for a Miami college student, we get 58 million results. And then when we make the search very specific, like a FIU college student, we'll get 964,000 results. What this means is there are, on the first one, 1.5 billion web pages competing for the first page. There are only 8 results in the first page that are organic. So how does one, or how does a business get there? And there are literally millions of searches per day for the combination of these keywords. Just imagine how many keywords are in the dictionary and what the combinations of keywords mean as well. So go ahead. So how do you get to the first page when you search for a specific term? So we'll talk about that. And again, that's through content and search engine optimization. 4 or 5 years ago, basically what we could do, we could edit the code of a specific web page to target that keyword. And we could rank for that keyword by using that keyword so many times in the code and also getting some backlinks. A backlink is basically a link from another site to my site or from my site to another site. So if I have a website and my friend has a website, I say, check out my friend's website, click here. That specific click here link that you click that takes you to the other site is actually called a backlink for the other site. The whole Google algorithm is built on this. It's called page rank. So the more backlinks I have to my site, the more popular my site is. Obviously, if I have more backlinks than somebody else, my page should show up higher. Now, what Google did is they actually tie this into the keywords. So what keywords are you using to link? If you're using click here, link to another website, it's not that relevant. If my site is about internet marketing, I would want people to link to me saying internet marketing, and that internet marketing is clickable. So that whole, the whole reason that these guys have $18 billion each net worth is because of this one algorithm that they created. So we do this through power articles, and this is a term that we have actually coined. So what are power articles? They're about 1,000 to 2,000 words. They're very detailed articles, very in-depth articles. Go ahead. And it has to be great quality. So when you're talking about, let's say, college student, and you want to show up for that term, the content you need to have for college student needs to be really, really in-depth. You have to cover it because it's a very general term. So the more general the term, the better content that you need to have on your site. Research is a must. You have to do research on writing about a specific topic. And we'll cover some examples of this as well. And you have to also look at how you can differentiate your content from others. So, and I talk about this a lot. Writing, being able to write and being able to write well is very, very important for the future careers. Communication skills, written communication skills are very important. Go ahead. And how often do you write these articles? So when we get a client, for example, and they have been in business for 60 years, 60 plus years, they're a big time manufacturer of machinery, let's say, they have 100,000 SKUs in their system, but they don't have fresh content. They just have product descriptions. That's not really content. See, when you want to show up for industrial machinery or industrial machines on Google, you have to really provide value to the users. If I'm searching for industrial machines, I need to be able to find everything on your website for you to be able to show up on top of that search result, because that search result is really essential. It's really important. It's really valuable. So when we consult clients, this is one of the first things that we set up. How often should you write content? And we usually put it minimum of once a week or twice a week. This content needs to be written. And we do also keyword research as well. We do weekly, monthly keyword research because we know what users are searching for, so we basically target that. When you're looking at a pool of 10,000 different keyword searches, you want to first target the ones that have the highest potential and the lowest competition. So there are a lot of tools online that give you that. And content, without content, you literally cannot do online marketing. And when I say content, it's not only written content, we're talking about images, we're talking about videos, press releases, any kind of content, blogging. Go ahead. So this is an example of an article that I wrote a while back, actually. I wrote first in 2009, it's integrated in marketing, and then I rewrote it as a power article. I believe it's about 1,300 words. It's really, really detailed. So if you actually search for this on Google, you're going to see it. Go ahead. Go ahead. If you search for integrated in marketing on Google, you'll see my article as the first result. So The only reason I'm showing up there is because it's a very detailed article, number one. I was able to push a lot of authority to this article. Authority meaning a lot of backlinks, people mentioned it, I got citations. That's why I'm showing there are 45 million results for this specific search. And I'm showing number one of 45 million. So this strategy works. Go ahead. Now, you might say, okay, so what to do? You rank for a keyword. What does that mean for your business? Now, if you look at, since I wrote this article, and it goes back all the way to, again, 2009, March 16, 2009 to April 15, 2012, you can't really see that, but that's 7,949 visitors I got for this one article. Our website, our blog, has 1,500 posts. So you can do the math on how much traffic that generates. So another thing that you're looking at, go ahead for me, is that conversion rate. So that specific article brought me 0.3% conversion rate. So 0.3% of 8,000, what is that, about maybe 20 leads? Is that what it is? So that's, actually it's 2 to 3 leads, I think, it's not 20. So it gave me these leads, and those leads are very valuable for me. Average client pays us about maybe $50,000 to $100,000 annually. So when you look at that, one piece of content can bring a lot of revenue for businesses. What it can bring for you is it can bring a lot of visibility. So, and we'll talk about the suggestions on how we should do content. You don't obviously have to have a website, or you don't have to do keyword research like us, but there are certain things that everybody can do to improve their online authority. Go ahead. So we'll talk about localization and personalization a little bit. We did not have this 5 years ago on Google. When you logged on to Google, you saw 10 results organic and about anywhere from 5 to 8 results paid, and that was it. Go ahead. Now, when you search, again, we can't really say this, but when you search for Miami colleges or colleges Miami, you're going to see this search result. You know, what does it have? It has all the colleges on top. The one with the background is actually paid. So Florida National University of Phoenix, colleges in Miami, they are paid. The right-hand side is paid, and then you get the local results. So today, what you're looking at is, this is a localized search. Because I searched this from Miami IP, I'm getting these results. If I search this from New York, I would not get the local listings, and I would not get that line on top. I would get completely something else. So if you're searching for a plumber in Coral Gables IP, and you're searching for a plumber in Aventura IP, you're gonna see completely different results. And this has only happened, this has been implemented about 4 years ago. So that's what localization is. Now, let's talk about personalization. Now, a lot of you here, I assume, have Gmail accounts or YouTube accounts. You know that a couple of months back, you logged into your YouTube account and your Gmail account, and Google kind of forced you to create a Google Plus account. Did that happen? Yeah. So there's a reason that that's happening, because Google is trying to compete with Facebook, ironically. So when you search for internet marketing services, you're looking at 277 million search results. And on top, you'll see that 160 personal results. So I have a group of business associates or friends in my Google Plus. So it's basically saying, hey, you know, you have this many personal results that your friends have also liked. So it's becoming where Google thinks from their data that you trust what your friends like or where your friends have been more than where they have not been at all, or when it's really just a search result. So that's why they're implementing Google Plus along with the search results. Look for me. And if you actually look at my right side of that login, you'll see that I'm logged into my Google Plus account with my Gmail. The only reason I'm seeing those personalized results is that now Google is doing a lot of tests on this. They're testing a lot of different things, but they are really pushing Google Plus along with personalized results. So, and the same thing with Facebook. They had Facebook in their search results first, and then they took it out. They brought it back. They took it out again. So they're testing a lot of different ways to see how users engage with each other through social media search. Go ahead. And then again, if you search for Obama, and this was done last year actually during the elections, it gives you a good indication. 70 personal results, 890 million search results, well, 70 of them are personal, which means 70 of my friends already searched for Obama or viewed some content that is related to Obama. and it's giving me those first. Now, if I had any friends, basically, it would also identify in the search results. It would say, your friend Jim has clicked this link. So which one am I more likely to click? Something Jim viewed, which is a good friend of mine, or something that I have no relations with? Go ahead. So that's basically search in a very, very basic way. Let's talk about authority and authorship. If you search for dangers of social networking on Google, you'll see that I wrote an article on this. And you'll see my picture right there. Now, we didn't have this 2 years ago. This is what Google created, and they named it authorship. What this means is, if you write an article in a blog that has specific code relationships, which is, Blogger has it, Blogspot has it, WordPress has it, and a couple of other tools have it as well. When you connect it to your Google Plus account, your Google Plus profile will pop up there. So why is this important? This is basically, we call this the future of being an author, or future of citation. Now, it's really valuable for us because Google ran tests, and people are 3 to 5 times more likely to click on that link with my picture than the link right below it, which is pacific.edu. It's actually an edu link. So, and there's a reason that I rank higher than pacific.edu. Because, obviously, I do search engine optimization. I know the little things to change. But more importantly, I have more authority, better authority, than that edu website, which is a university. So when you tie an article that you wrote, or a blog spot that you wrote, back to the Google Plus, this shows up. Go ahead. Now, search for another one, marketing slogans. You'll see the same thing, and you'll see one of another article, 77 catchy and creative slogans, that was published, all Gatsby. Again, the same thing. And if you look at it, she has 3,316 Google Plus circles. She has 3,316 people as friends. I have only 78 friends. So,
well, something that I just noticed, if you click on your picture too, then you get the listing of all your stuff
yes,
in one search.
yes,
No.
yes, everything. So it's
Yeah,
indexed,
right.
yeah, it's indexed in that manner because of my authorship. Every article that I've written, you can actually see everything that's done by me. Go ahead.
What happens for the avid Bing users who use Bing because they work at Microsoft and they just despise anything Google or anything like that? Will they see the same results on Bing, or all this work is only for Google?
This is only for Google right now. Google actually won't release their Google Plus API to Bing. Bing uses Google technology for search, but Google Plus is specifically for Google. Okay? And also bear in mind that Bing has about maybe 5 to 10%.
Yeah, no,
Search
I'm a Google guy.
Of course,
I'm
of
just
course.
saying.
No, and again,
There's those people
I wish
that-
that they would just focus on other stuff, but they're very consistent.
It's a Google one.
Go ahead. Again, another search, customized marketing, 111 million results. There's my picture. Even though I'm not number 1, I'm number 4 here. I'm probably, and again, this is just an estimate or an assumption, I'm probably getting as many clicks as number 1, because when you see that, you're more likely to click based on Google search, based on Google's tests, on something that has authorship. Go ahead. And if you look at my profile, actually, you'll see that my profile is set up accurately. It's 100%. So the
So
first.
we like these people too,
Go ahead.
because I can't see.
So what we want to do is one of the first things that if you haven't already set up your Google Plus account, do it, because it's very, very important. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. It basically builds your presence. Go ahead. Now, again, Google knows who you are. There is a linking structure and relationship between social accounts and search. So Google knows who you are through your Twitter account, your Facebook account, through your LinkedIn account, your name, your last name. There's a website called Spokeo. It's spokeo.com. If you go there and search for a friend, search for a phone number, you will freak out, because you can literally see their address, their home address. You can see how much their home is worth. It's called spokeo.com. SPOKEO. Okay? And that's data that Google has a lot of, basically. So it just gives you an idea. It's very difficult to hide your identity nowadays. So you have to be very careful on what you post on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, what kind of images, when it happens to us, we go to a bar or an event and they take a picture. Somebody takes a picture and it gets posted somewhere and they give you a card, they say if you want to see your picture, put it here. They put your name and your last name. That's there forever. You can't have it removed. Nobody will remove it. We actually deal with reputation crisis for our clients that are lawyers, doctors, accountants, high-profile people, celebrities, who have had those kinds of pictures taken and they just don't want to show up on Google. Because now if you search for my name on Google, you're going to see 3-5 pictures right there on the search result of my name, my picture, my face. So which one is showing up? Go ahead. Authorship is transferable. So I'm writing for Algorithm 7. It's not ready yet, but in about 3 to 5 years, your authorship is going to be able to get you the best job ever. Because if I write for CNN, and then I get out of CNN, and I'm going to write for ABC or NBC or Optimum 7, whatever it is, I can transfer that authority with me. You never had this before. That means that the moment that I go to abc123.com, that has no authority whatsoever, just because I'm writing an article for them, they'll be able to show up on top of search. So I'm taking that value. Right now, actually, if a company comes to me and says, guest blog post for us or guest post for us, I will charge them money to give them an article. Because with my article, they'll be able to show up on top of search. So it has money power as well. Go ahead. And authorship is authority. The more articles you write, contribute, the more different places you are, your authorship grows. And that's going to be worth a lot of money in the future. And when we say future, it's in the near future. I put it to 2 to 5 years. And just so you know how much Google is paying attention to Google+, the Google+, and very few people know this, but the Google top management or the executives in Google, 50% of their bonus payments every year is tied to how well Google Plus does. If you look at the metrics of Google Plus in the past 2 years, you'll see it grow tremendously. There's a reason for that, and the only reason is because it's tied to bonuses. So everybody needs to pay attention to Google Plus. It's the only game, it's the second game that Google ever lost. The first was, where do you go to buy books? Amazon. That's the first that they lost, and Amazon is killing it. The second one is they lost social media, so they won't let that one go. Go ahead. We'll talk about video marketing, the rise of video marketing, and our social media strategist, Lucia, actually created all this research. If you look at this, and again, this is a company called Threadless. They have their, they have their YouTube channel. And what they do is they actually communicate with their users. They actually communicate with their audience through video. Video is very, very important. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world right now. And they are actually making good money from YouTube now. For a while there, they spent all that money and they were making money, but YouTube ads, again, almost every video has an ad now. Some of them you can skip, some of them not. But the advertisers are actually spending money on video, a lot of them. Go ahead. If you look at, and again, if you look at a company, click again. If you look at a company called like Zappos. Zappos, they were doing about 1.1 billion. How do you sell 1.1 billion worth of shoes annually? It's actually really interesting, and this goes back to reputation management as well. Here we're just reviewing them. Click again. We're reviewing them for video and what they do and how they share with social media, how they interact with their audience, their users. When you go home today, if you have time, go online and find one negative review about this company that ships 35,000 packages per day. One bad review. You can't find one bad review about this company. How do you sell $2 billion today, $2 billion worth of merchandise annually, and you don't get one complaint? They've done it. And the only reason that they've done it is because they created a company culture. They communicate with their audience. They're very transparent in what they do. They're very careful with who they hire. They basically have a hiring process where you go for an interview, and they say to you, if you don't feel comfortable here, if it's not a match, we'll pay you $5,000 to go. So just tell us you don't like it, and we'll pay you $5,000 to just leave. So if you're hired by Zappos, in your pocket you have $5,000. You can just get the money and get out. The reason they are doing that is they want to have a team. They create a company culture, a corporate culture, and they communicate about this through social media, through their video efforts and everything. Go ahead. When you look at social media, again, it started with MySpace, really. MySpace is kind of like the first website. And then we have Facebook. After Facebook, we got Twitter, that's really, really popular. Then we had Instagram recently. We had Pinterest, which is a question mark. Go ahead. And again, these social media outlets need to integrate with each other, right? It's for different industries. Obviously, if you sell machines, you're probably not going to be on Facebook. It's more likely that you're going to be on LinkedIn. However, if you sell shoes, you're going to be on Facebook and you're going to be on Pinterest because you have pictures of shoes. If you do fashion, you'll definitely be on Pinterest. Or if you're a female, you'll definitely be on Pinterest. So, and again, Instagram integration with Facebook, Pinterest integration on Facebook, you have different examples of this. And the custom applications is a big thing. This is more the technical, geeky side of things, but marketers and managers think that they don't need to know the geeky side. But unfortunately, that's not the case. If you don't know technical things, you're going to be sitting in a room and other people are going to know and you won't know the technical side of it. So just what I explained, I'm a marketer, we are marketers, but we have to know the technical things now. We can't just say, oh, the IT deals with that. The unfortunate side of that is IT has no idea about marketing. And they'll create something and they'll show it to 5 million people and you won't get one order. So the marketers are the ones that need to know the technical details. Go ahead. So with that all this being said, why should you care about social media? What is in it for you? You might be a student, you might be trying to advance your career, you might be going for your master's, you might be going for law school. Regardless of what you are planning for your future, you have to be in social media because it's not going to be there forever. It's going to be your new resume. Go ahead. Because employers do. Right? Now, if you look at all these statistics, and I'll just pass it, but 1 of 5 employers use social networking sites to research job candidates. I know this because I look at it. I'm constantly recruiting on LinkedIn. I'm constantly looking on Facebook because the people in my group or in my friends are usually people that attend the same conferences, that go to the same conferences, students that I meet when I do workshops. It's really, it's to a point where if I get an application and I Google their name and their picture don't show up, they don't have at least 1 article published, they don't have a LinkedIn profile that's fully completed, I won't even call them for an interview. And obviously, we're an internet marketing company, we do consultation, but I know a lot of friends who are in completely opposite industries, like, I work with industrial, natural stone importers, I deal with people that do import-export, I deal with people that do financial consultation. They look at the same thing. HR managers today, the first thing they do is they Google that name. That's the one thing that they do, the first thing. Go ahead. Because it's a new job. Now, if you look at these, and again, how much time do small businesses spend on social media? A lot of people think, oh, small businesses don't have time. Just go online and just look at some small businesses. Look at your dry cleaner. See, they probably have a Facebook account. It's probably set up, it's sitting somewhere. They might not be leveraging it, but it's there. They set it up. They probably have a Twitter account. And if they don't, it's a big mistake. So for small businesses, a lot of small businesses are using social media and they're looking at different metrics. And again, these numbers are all going up. 3 years ago, when somebody came to us and we said, oh, you need to create a Twitter account, they would say, are you crazy? What am I going to do with a Twitter account? I don't have time for that. Now, guess what? They have time for it because Twitter shows up right there on top of search. If you search for Optimum 7 on Google, which is my company, you're going to see Facebook show up, Twitter show up, LinkedIn show up, a couple of articles show up, the website show up. Go ahead. And then again, 60% of small businesses are spending more time on social media compared to a year ago. So these metrics basically make a big difference when you are, and if you think about the fact that 70 to 75% of you will or are currently working for a small business, small to medium-sized business. You're not working for large, huge corporations. So small business matters. And if you have that visibility, you're going to be in front of them. Okay? Because it's growing rapidly. Now these are numbers from, again, these are numbers from I believe May or June. But if you look at all this, again, Facebook has kind of peaked, and they're trying to create new ways of making money because their click-through rates with their ads are actually 1/10 of Google. Even though they have more traffic than Google today and more views, they are making less money. So they're trying to be creative about it. But Facebook is growing. Twitter has just gone crazy. Everybody has Twitter. They don't even have to do any marketing anymore. Everywhere you open CNN is Twitter. Everybody, all the authors, all the actors, everybody has Twitter. Go ahead.
So Duran, how is Facebook monetizing 1 billion users?
Facebook, minimum. They are monetizing with those ads you see on the right-hand side. In the past year, they started doing the promoted posts, which we believe actually has more value than the side ads, but their click-through rates are so low. When I say click-through rate, it's, let's say I put an ad, and it gets 100 impressions, which means it's viewed 100 times, but online impressions don't mean anything. If they click and go to your site, or go to whatever you're trying to sell or advertise, the click is important. So if 100 impressions, one click, that's 1% click-through rate. With Google Ads, what we're able to do is we're able to get 5%, 6%, 10%, 15% click-through rate. With Facebook, it's like 0.1%, 0.2%. It's really, really low. Why? Because when Facebook came online, they did not have ads. So suddenly, they're expecting all the users to click on these ads that they're trying to make it relevant, but it's really not relevant. The ads are not relevant on Facebook. So they're monetizing, they're making money because of the volume of traffic they have, but they could make 10 times more money if they could just find a way on how to make those people click those ads. And the way that Google does it is Google provides information. They just have a better structure. Google's AdWords account or AdWords system is very, very relevance targeted. They have something called a quality score, which means your ads needs to be relevant to your keywords that you're advertising for, and your keywords and your ads need to be relevant to your landing page. And we call this a Google relevance cycle, actually. So,
Did you say that again?
of course. So when you, let's say you type something on Google, let's say you type internet marketing services, and I'm advertising on Google. That keyword, internet marketing services, is $20 a click. So if you search for it and you click on that ad, I am paying Google $20 for one click from one user. So, and you click, and before you click, my ad has to be relevant, right? You search for internet marketing services, what does it say? If it says like shoes for sale, you're not gonna click on it because you search for internet marketing services. Not only that, if you search for internet marketing services and I put there marketing done the right way or something stupid like that, you're not gonna click on it because you don't look at, you don't search for marketing, you search for internet marketing services. So there are different formulas you could use to make that ad really relevant to that keyword. Google recognizes that. Now, you see that ad copy, you say, okay, it's starting from $500, that's within my budget, let's say. The third line says, internet marketing services, specialized in internet marketing consultation, starting from $500 a month, let's say. You say, okay, you click on it. Now, whatever that message is, internet marketing services, consultation, $500 a month, needs to be on my landing page, where I take you after you click. If you click and you go to my homepage, which has nothing to do with consultation or $500 a month, it's not relevant. So Google's algorithm actually sees those keywords, specific keywords, on how targeted it is. Not only that, it's freaky, we have Google Analytics installed on our sites. So Google actually has data on what those users do when they actually come to the landing page. How long do they stay? Did they just click back? Did they stay for 2 minutes? Did they convert? Google even knows if they converted into a sale because I have a form there. Okay, so when they have all this data, they can tell, you know what, your landing page got 1,000 people, it got 2 conversions, your conversion rate is something like 0.2%, which is nothing. So you have to pay more for that spot now. So if you want to show up number one, you're not going to pay $20 anymore. You're going to pay $30 because there's another guy that's bidding $10 that has a better quality score. So Google took 10 years to build this whole algorithm, and that's the reason that they're doing better right now. Go ahead. And then again, Facebook, these are the 2012, they're about, like I said, $1 billion, I think $1 billion and change. They have peaked. They're not, their average views are not going up anymore, but they're trying to leverage from that core audience. Go ahead. And Twitter, obviously, Twitter is big as well. There's a lot of communication, a lot of engagement going on Twitter. Twitter basically enabled people, everybody, to be journalists without the editorial, without editing it. If you look at what happened in the Arab world with the uprising, if you look at what happens when there's an earthquake in Japan, before you even see it in news, it's going to be on Twitter. So Twitter trends, and we follow that closely. Lucy is very good with that. It's basically where you need to be. And again, if I'm going to hire a social media strategist, or if on your resume you have social media listed as one of your skills, and I go to your Twitter account and you have only 100 tweets so far, it's not going to match up. And everybody right now, I know this because I work with a lot of different industries, are looking for people who have social media experience. Nobody knows what it means, but they want it. Nobody knows what is done on social media. None of the managers know, none of the executives know. So if you familiarize yourself with it, and if you can basically create engagement, get some feedback from people, it's valued. We deal with it every day. We deal with people who sell weird things like security cameras. Now we are doing social media for a guy that sells security cameras. I don't get it. Lucia gets it. It's, I guess you can call it early adaptation, or early, people adapting it before it really is crazy. This is the first time in, I would say, marketing after TV ads, that nobody is expecting ROI, return on investment, with social media, because currently it doesn't exist. You can't tie it directly to a sale or to a revenue easily. You have to really, really try hard to connect it. And you have to say, we spent this much money on social media to make this much money. You can do that with search, you can do that with pay-per-click, you can do that with a lot of different mediums like affiliate marketing, but you can't do it with social media. It's purely for your brand, your engagement, your authority. Go ahead. And in the corporate world, again, tweets, Twitter. The other day I had a bad experience that I was going to put the screenshot, but I'll just tell you. Bad experience at Cheesecake Factory. I don't go there often. We went for breakfast. It was terrible. I came home. I contacted them through their website. I said, this was terrible. I don't know your Cheesecake Factory. How does this happen? Your manager was really rude. They wrote back right away. Somebody called me. A manager called me. Another manager called me. So I went to Twitter and I said, oh, wow, at Cheesecake Factory really has good customer service. Within 5, maybe 10 seconds, we're glad, come back again. Cheesecake Factory tweeted to me. Obviously there's some kind of automation there, but they're listening to the conversation. Now do the same thing for Delta. Do the same thing for American Airlines. Nobody is listening. That's why these are really hated brands. When you fly with American Airlines, you're like, I will never fly with this again. You will, because they have cheap flights and they fly there. But it's just, if you think about it, it's so much more expensive to fix that thought or that idea than to not have it created in the first place. So, it goes into the overall management of corporations. It's so effective. Go ahead. And then Google Plus, we talked about it. It's really, really growing fast. I think it's about 140 million or 150 million, if not more right now. The professionals are really, really using Google Plus. Everybody in my circle uses Google Plus. Everybody that I know, a lot of the law attorneys started using it. A lot of the accountants started using it. Doctors started using it. We have a couple of doctors. We have a couple of plastic surgeons and doctors as clients. They're getting really, really good feedback with Google Plus communities. Go ahead. So, it's your turn. How are you going to improve your online authority? What do you have to do? Go ahead. how are you going to use your social media profiles? Is your Facebook really open to public? Or when I look at your Twitter account, when I Google your name, what shows up? You know, people write crazy stuff on Twitter, and it's really funny to me because I have family too. I have little nieces and nephews who write crazy stuff on Twitter, and every time I see it, I say, oh my God, this is going to haunt you for the rest of your life because it's going to be there forever. And you're cursing on Twitter. You're saying something like, screw this, which is going to be there forever. It's indexed. Even if you remove your Twitter account, there are 100, 200 other websites that are grabbing everything from Twitter and publishing it on their sites. It's all cloud now, so you removing your account doesn't mean that it goes away. It's still in that search result. Okay? So you're going to build your portfolio. One thing that I'm going to suggest is anytime you're going to tweet something or put a status on Facebook or anything like that, write it down, don't send it, give it 10 minutes. If you feel the same way in 10 minutes, then send it out. Okay? Because it's just, you know, I see a lot of regret there. I do that personally, you know. It's just, like I said, it's going to be there forever. That's the only way to really explain. You're going to build your portfolio. LinkedIn is the #1 important. Google Plus is the second important. Facebook, just make sure that your privacy settings are right on Facebook. Don't let other people tag you in pictures. Have it approved. Okay? It's really, really important. And when you Google your name, make sure none of crazy pictures show up. I actually had an applicant the other day, and obviously I Googled her name, and I saw all these party pictures on Google. And you know, she was kissing a couple of other girls in those party pictures. And her resume looked so good. It looked so good, but again, it's over because I would be an irresponsible owner / manager if I actually hired that person. Now, imagine how HR managers think, because they're actually responsible for that hire. They're going to be held accountable for that hire. There's no way, even if you have sometimes if you have a picture with a vodka bottle in your hand, it's not going to be very, very positive. Okay? Go ahead. And again, what you do is you network with potential employers. Employers love that. They love people who can outreach, who can reach out, and who can say, you know what, I love your company, I love your brand. I've done a lot of research about you. I did this project about you, blah, 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 and not trying to be hired, but just outreach, right? Write the right kind of message to get their attention. And then when you apply, it will stick there. You know, you'll have some visibility along with everything else. And then if you have any kind of negativity or you think it's negative, fix it. Google your name. What shows up when you Google your name? Look at images, look at blog posts. And if negative things show up, it's very easy to fix it, and we're going to cover that as well. Go ahead. And you have to create a presence online. You have to be somebody online. This is very, very important. And when I Googled your name, and there was a question I believe before, somebody said, my name is David Smith, then there are 10,000 David Smiths in the world. So what's going to happen? Well, personalize yourself. You're probably one of the few David Smiths at FIU. So when you do something, your website or your blog, say David Smith from FIU Miami. You can differentiate. And if you do this the right way, you're going to beat all those David Smiths. Unless your name is Bill Gates. And, you know, you're going to lose. Go ahead. So we'll talk about small businesses a little bit and how social media can promote startups and small businesses. So, and again, if you look at Facebook numbers, you're going to see 1 million websites integrated with Facebook. A lot of the users still don't look at privacy settings. And you see that a lot of the users actually check their account 5 times or more on a daily basis. So when you look at this, 80% of users prefer to connect with friends on Facebook. If I went to every single one of your Facebook accounts somehow, if I had a magic browser, I would see that 90% of you like more than 3 brands on Facebook. Okay, so what that means is you're actually engaging with these people. You might like Nike, right? And you just happen to click like to Nike, but guess what? When you click like, Nike now has your information, has your age, it has your demographic, it has what you like, and Facebook has it as well. So Facebook can serve it to the advertisers. Here, somebody 25 years old likes Nike, Reebok, and McDonald's, makes this much money, works here, likes all these other brands, shares these videos, I mean, whatever you can think of. Imagine the amount of data that Facebook has. So for companies and for marketers, it's a gold mine. Okay? So what you're going to do as a small business or a startup is find out where your prospects and your customers are spending time. Where is your audience? Obviously, if I do textile manufacturing, I'm probably going to be in that area where fashion, where I'm going to be with apparel. So you have to really identify your target audience really well with social media. And again, competitive and market research online. We do a lot of this at our company. The first thing we do, somebody comes to us, they're selling an XYZ product, it doesn't really matter. What can I do in social media? So we have to go back, spend actually a couple of hours to research. Here are the creative ideas that we come up with, and here's how you can engage with your audience. And again, it's customized every time, but there's a lot of opportunity in terms of how people view you. And then when you integrate with your website, obviously you're going to have a website. When you integrate Facebook with your website, when they come to your website, when somebody hits a specific page on your website, you're going to have that like button. There are different creative things we do. For example, with power articles we talked about, we write an article, and obviously if you just land on a page, you're probably not going to like that article without reading it, right? Unless you are a really big fan of mine and my company. So you're going to read it a little bit. So they have different scripts where you read it, and when the page is in the help, it means that you've read half of the article. I'll pop up something that says, like this article, like our author, like our page, or like this page, or like this article. So that's engagement. These are the different creative ways that you can tell the IT people to come up with these ideas. And when we actually tested that, when we implemented that, we saw that the like numbers increased by 300%. Instead of giving them the like right away on top of the page, they read it, and then we kind of pop up the like, a little bit like on the right, really, really light. Okay, so these are the kinds of ideas that we need to have. Now, small business, and again, anything that I'm talking about here is available free as a free tool. There is some free way to integrate this. You just have to know where to look at it and how to do it. And if you actually Google this, if you literally Google, I want a little thing to pop up with a Facebook like when people read 50% of my article, you're going to get that search. Somebody wrote about that. We write about crazy articles. So there are resources online. You just have to Google it, and it's there. It's very easy to implement. And then choose your social media strategy wisely. If you're a company who sells industrial machinery that's worth $500,000, don't go and create a Facebook account, because nobody's going to like you on Facebook. It's very unlikely. If you sell shoes or if you sell fashion products, go sign up for an account on Pinterest. Go ahead. And again, if you look at Twitter, you're gonna one of the most important things is the trends. You have to look at the trends. So when I usually go on Twitter and when I tweet something or when I write something, I have to make sure that it has to be it has to target the audience. So if I was talking about the fact that I'm going to do a workshop here, I'm going to tweet FIU, #FIU, or #FIU specific department of FIU. You basically create visibility that way. When you're a brand, you have to just make sure that you write the same kinds of tweets. And when you're trying to engage with people, I see a lot of brands doing this. And again, somebody follows somebody and say, thanks for the follow. So thanks for the follow, ABC. Thanks for the follow, 1, 2, 3. So if you look at their Twitter feed, it's like, thanks for the follow, thanks for the follow, thanks for the follow. So they think that that's engagement, but it's really not engagement. Engagement is when it's natural. When you're not trying to force to engage with people, it just happens naturally. A lot of people still, I would say more than 60% of it still don't get it. Now, and again, Instagram, Twitter, you're looking at these numbers, top 5 hashtags, love, Instagood, these are some numbers. If you look at these metrics on Pinterest and different outlets, you just have to make sure that your strategy matches your service. Your strategy matches your product. It just has to be relevant. Just like we talked about relevance in search, it has to be relevant. Go ahead. Now, again, there are different tools that you can use. TweetDeck by Twitter. Hootsuite they have a free version, I believe, right? Hootsuite has a free like a
Mhm.
premium kind of version. You can pay for it, and it has more functionality. And then you can look at you can analyze different things like Twitterizer. And you can, there are so many tools for Twitter because they're API. Their API is very good. I'm going to describe API. It's basically, Twitter gives access to the programmers of their API. So you can take all Twitter data and you can structure it, restructure it however you want. So I could literally go into Twitter's API and say, let me know every time the word Duran is mentioned, and then couple that with every time Inci is mentioned, and do this crazy formula, let's say. So developers are building crazy tools on top of Twitter because of their API, because of how well it works. I don't know if you're aware, but 2 years ago or so, maybe 1.5, 2 years ago, you would get a big bird that's fat with Twitter. Sometimes it would get stuck. You don't see that happening anymore, do you? Or when was the last time you saw that happen? So it's not as often because they really improve their technology. So when you're looking at it, and again, Buffer app we use a lot because you can kind of schedule your tweets. So if I don't have time to sit in front of Twitter and tweet all day, I schedule 5 times a day. 5 times a day is more than enough, right? I sit down in the morning and I say, okay, at 10 a.m. tweet this, 1 p.m. tweet this, 3 p.m. tweet this, 5 p.m. tweet this. And I can basically set that up in a schedule. So third-party applications to help manage your social media, automate your content when your audience is most active on social media sites. These are all different metrics. So HubSpot, one of the big companies in our industry, did the research and they found out that whatever you share on a Sunday morning is 80% more likely to be shared by others, commented by others, on a Saturday morning specifically. So, and again, it's different for every industry, and you can get those metrics with Twitter and different tools. These tools are free. Some of them cost something crazy like $5 a month. It's not even a drink, so it's very well worth it. Track your results with applications like Social Sprout, Twitterizer, Social Mention, and again, most of these applications are free or have some kind of free trial, or if they require some kind of payment, it's really low. It's going to be less than $20. So just to give you an idea, and Lucia and I, we've been working on this strategy for, I would say, for the past 2-3 months or so. So this is a discussion group. It's called Florida Criminal Defense Lawyers on LinkedIn. It's a LinkedIn group. Okay? And you'll see most popular discussion. I'm no legal expert, by the way. And probably 60-70% of people here are lawyers. Click again. Go back really quick. So what we did is we're trying to get engagement, right? So we posted something, and this was Lucia's idea actually. What's your perspective on decriminalizing marijuana? Now this is a really hot topic, really controversial, so we know a lot of people are going to have a lot of comments on this. That's the reason that we did this, right? And we got a lot of comments, and that's all it takes to be influential on Twitter. It's you post something and 3 people comment, and you comment right back, and they comment again. You're the most influential people in that group, person in that group. Now, this is what happens. Click. So, 877 members, sorted by most relevant. You're going to see Duran on top. Click again. And on the right side, as soon as you go into that group page, click again. Again, most popular discussion. You're looking at all these different things, and you're looking at different comments. You see there are 4 comments there. Actually, right now it's about 12 or 13 comments on the specific thread. Click again. And as soon as you log in, on the right-hand side, out of the close to 900 members they have, you see this, top influencers this week. First one is Duran Inci. So there are 800-something attorneys on that group, and I'm the most influential one. So what do you think is going to happen when I contact one of them? They have seen my picture before, they have seen my name before. So it gives me the authority or the ability to message them out of the blue and say, hey, you know, not trying to sell, of course, it has to be really subtle. But, you know, I see that your firm is this, you have some negative reviews on Google. Did you know about that? Because I do reputation management. I don't say that, of course, but that's where I'm going to take it to. Okay, I'm going to be like, hey, Bill, you have 3 negative reviews on Google. Are you aware of that? Because this is really hurting your business. And then I'll probably get on the phone with him, and I'll have capability to sell because I have the first thing that needs to happen before I sell. I have pain. I have just created pain. The second thing is I have authority because he has seen me here. I'm in your group, by the way. You can, just log in and look at the top, look at the right, and you'll see my picture.
Did you say pain?
Pain.
Pain.
Pain, yes. The first thing that needs to happen online sales is pain. Right? There has to be some kind of pain. Otherwise, the sale is not going to go. Pain, budget decision. That's what it is. Go ahead.
The suffering, he's talking about suffering.
So let's review Google algorithm really quick. Go ahead. Click. What has changed? So you're looking at Google 97. Click again. Click. You're looking at Google in 98. It looks more like Yahoo. Actually, that exclamation mark is really funny because that's from the Yahoo logo. If you look at Google again, this is 2009. And this is how it looks today. They tested a lot of different things, so it's just search. This is what we do. We specialize in search. Please. Now,
Oh my God.
this is a data center of Google, just one of them, and this shows you. And this is their cooling system, actually. As funny as that. This is how they cool all those machines they have and all that data that they host. So the amount of data that they have is the reason that they're so powerful. Click. And if you search for, you can see the top, but if you search for plasma TV, Google makes money there. It's like maybe $20, $25 a click every time somebody clicks. Google used to not charge money there. Those are product listings. Now they charge money there. Google makes money there. So you only have 3 results: Best Buy, Wikipedia, and Crutchfield.com. Okay?
Is Google charging Wikipedia because it's always now like in the right side?
No, organic. Here, what you see with the white background, the left-hand side is organic search. They don't pay. They don't pay for anything. The only reason Wikipedia is on top because they provide pure information with no. They don't want anything back. They just want you to view the information. They're not trying to sell you anything.
Okay, if you're competing, if you're a competitor on this, on Google Ads, so you have your company that's competing with other companies, would you consider it unethical to click until they're done with their ads?
It doesn't matter because Google has already solved that problem. Everybody has an IP. So if you click, like go back, click again, go back, click again, suddenly there's a flag there. Google says this guy's trying to do something.
Okay, so they'll only charge the
It's just
maximum.
one click, yeah. It's just one session, first session, and I would put every session to be like 2-3 hours. Google's algorithm is so good that if you went back, went to another site, came back, clicked again, they're not going to charge that company twice. You understand? Their algorithm is so good now that they can identify if you're trying to do something fishy.
And is it after a certain amount of hours, you do that within a 24-hour period, and you go on the next day and
Not
click again?
about hours, but they they know exactly where you're clicking because they have your IP. So if you go here and click here and go back to Facebook and write to your friends and come back and search again and click again, they'll probably charge the company. Because you went out of the session and you did something else. You're like, oh, I was going to buy a plasma TV. Okay, let me search again. Then they deserve to pay twice. They should be happy to pay twice because the second time you're more likely to buy because you're going back there, right? So instead of $20, they pay $40. You still buy a $2,000 plasma on a 40% profit margin. They still make money.
Now, as a content provider,
Mhm.
I understand that it's an incredible tool because it has a lot of cross marketing, etc.
Mhm.
But as a consumer and as a user who maybe, like, I would not be a content provider,
Mhm.
having Google so embedded in all of the aspects of my life, what are the dangers that we should be aware of? Because if I have the Google, if I use Google Chrome plus Google Plus and Gmail, and everything I use is Google tied, I mean, it's great for the seller because they have all this information about me, but as a consumer, what should people be aware of?
Well, the only company that has all that data is Google. They don't really release that data to anybody else, but when it's an advertiser, for example, there's something called retargeting. So let's say you search for internet marketing services, you come to my site, you visit my SEO services page. Now, the moment you hit that page, through Google, I can place a little pixel on your computer. So then you go to your Yahoo email, you check your Yahoo email, right? boom, on the right-hand side, you say Optimum 7. You see my picture, hey, I miss you, come back. I can actually do that. Retarget, yeah. So, and I can manage it so that I can show it to you 3 times a day. I can only show it to you on these sites. I can only show it to her when she goes to CNN, because she's looking at something serious. You know, she'll probably buy my services. So there are different ways that you can market. But the only thing that I would say in terms of what you said from a privacy standpoint is don't use the same password for everything, please. A lot of people do that. Your email password, your LinkedIn password, your Facebook password cannot be all the same password. Because if I get a hold of your Google password, then I have your life in my hands. And probably your bank account passwords are all the same too. So use a different, you know, there was that
Use
move.
1Password. If you, I recommend that program.
Yeah, well,
1Password.
1Password, there's another one called,
Not literally 1Password, it's a program
yeah,
called
1Password. There's LastPass, very good solution as well. It's free. It saves all your information. So from a privacy standpoint, I really wouldn't worry about it because Google already has the data either way. They already have it, so if you just stop today, it's not like they don't have your data again. I wouldn't worry about it. But when you look at this, clicking up for me, you're looking at what basically changed. And if you look at Google, you know, they went over $800 a couple of months ago, so their stock is trading at $773. You're looking at a market cap of $250 billion. This is all it's about. Unfortunately, as unethical as this may sound, it's all about the money. Okay, like. Now, authority, I'm going to go a little bit faster here. You have to be somebody online. You have to transfer your offline identity to an online world. So guess what? If you like to play the guitar, talk about it because you're good at it. If you like to draw, put it on your blog, put it on your profile. People build relationships with people. Okay? Companies hire people. Companies don't build relationships with companies. Websites don't link to websites. People link to people. So be transparent. Be a human being. You know, don't just say, oh, I'm an executive that works this, and I'm very good at what I do in market analysis. No, put something personal. You know, I like to have wine every now and then. Or put something like, you know, I play the guitar. I'm very good drawing. Or I love race cars. I love racing. Or I have a Harley Davidson. People can relate to that. Now, if there's an HR manager that likes something that you like, it's going to be even more positive. So be, like I said, be a personality. Don't just be one of the bunch. That's the. Learn about psychology and influence because it's very important. We talk a lot about authority. You have to be able to meet new people, and you have to be able to build these relationships and build these long-term relationships. And when you meet people, you're going to meet as many people as possible. I have one rule that I need to meet one new person every day. So at the end of the year, I meet 365 people. And then the more people I know, it's very likely that they're going to become my clients or I'm going to do some kind of business with them. Okay? I play soccer every Mondays and Thursdays from 6:30 to 7:30. The people that I play soccer with are my age, probably 26 to 40. It's 13 people that I play soccer with. 5 of them are my clients. I wish I had met more people in college. I have 5 friends from college that I kept in touch with. 3 of them are my clients. So these relationships, they're fruitful forever. You know, you might not have a position right now to sell to those people, but once you get that, guess what? They're the first people that are going to buy from you because they know you personally. Okay? And have these relationships vouch for your authority. So if I stood here and if I said, oh, you know, I do this, I do that, I speak at conferences, I'm so good at what I do, I'm an expert in this, what would you say? You'd probably say like, oh, what an asshole, right? But if I had the professor here talk about me, or if I had my mom here and say, oh, this guy's pretty good, it would be better than me talking good about myself. So it's all about authority and how you build that authority. Okay, so all we're talking about is in person or online, build an authority and basically have Google Plus voucher. I mean, how cool is it to say, just Google my name? How cool is that? Just Google my name. You're going to see my LinkedIn, you're going to see my Facebook. You're going to see 3-4 articles that I have done, my interviews, the conferences I spoke at, what the press releases I have done, and it's very easy to be able to build that, okay? There are various research studies. I always mention this because I love it. There's something called the Milgram experiment. Who knows what that is? The Milgram experiment is an experiment they conducted where it basically shows obedience to authority figures. What it's about is they basically do a test where the subject comes in a room and he's unaware that everybody in that room is actually an actor. There's a doctor dressed as a doctor, and he's an actor as well. And you sit down and you say, okay, and these people are actually paid, the subjects are paid. You sit down, there's somebody behind the room, and there's a little vault, like a little dial, right? So they basically explain you the experiment. They say there's somebody sitting in the other room, and you're going to ask them questions, and as they get that wrong, you're going to turn the dial and give them an electric shock. And it's going to increase as they miss questions or as they don't answer the questions correctly. So long story short, the first question gets asked, the guy gets the other actor gets the question wrong, and a little shock, the person, the subject, who is not aware of what's going on, presses to electrocute the person in the other room. And the person in the other room is going, first. Second question, third question, more sound, pain, and at the end of the question, it's like, please don't do this, why are you doing this to me? This is really hurtful. And they bring it all the way to 450 volts. So out of all the people, how many of you think what percentage of the subjects killed the guy in the other room?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry? 5%, 67%.
Wow.
67% killed. And as they are doing this experiment, the subjects, they turn to the doctor with the white outfit and say, are you sure? Because that guy sounds like he's in pain. And the actor is only authorized to say 3 things. Number 1, he's authorized to say, it's absolutely essential that you continue this experiment. Number 2, you must finish the experiment. Number 3 is keep asking the questions, we must finish this experiment. And again, 67% killed the guy in the other room. The reason for this is because there's an obedience to authority figures. And if you're authority, and we talk about influence and psychology, if you can build that authority before you walk into a place or before you meet somebody, it's very likely that you might get that job, close that sale, whatever you want them to do, basically. Okay? Click. Again, let's talk about reputations, a screenshot that I took. Jeffrey Eisenberg is a very well-known conversion expert. He has 2 published books on conversion optimization. He's my Facebook friend, and this gentleman is a friend of mine too. He's actually the son of one of my close friends. And you see his party pictures, right? So in Facebook, you see different things. You see professionals sharing professional stuff, and you see party people sharing party pictures. Okay, click. But the important thing is what shows up when I look at your Facebook account. And most of this is public, unfortunately. 25% of people, their Facebook accounts are still public. Click from it.
That looks painful.
Again, maybe lighter, but if you look at it, it's going to be similar photos. I see this a lot of the time. I always Google, I always look at their Facebook people, whoever applies for a position to us, and you will be surprised how many times I see this. This is actually, when you Google something, this is a big thing right now. If you go to Google and say, remove a mugshot from Google, you're going to see an article that I've written. The funny thing is you can't really remove the mugshot from Google. It's very easy to get arrested and to get a mugshot there, but it costs about $10,000 to completely get it off first page.
Wow.
Because, go ahead.
I was gonna say, my friend emailed all the people, she had one, and she got them all taken off except for one.
Mm-hmm. The problem with that is there are thousands of these sites.
Right.
So, and the people who
I think
operate
she just
it,
wanted the main page, like,
Yeah, so
because
the-
if you put her name in, followed by mugshot, it came up.
yeah, so the ones that operate it, and usually they own like 10 different sites. So you'll pay and they'll remove it from one and they'll put it on the other one and they'll ask you to pay it. So it's crazy, okay? But again, pictures show up and it's not very pretty. Don't get arrested. If you do, it's gonna be painful. Go ahead. if you search my name, again, you're gonna see LinkedIn, my website.com, Twitter, Optimum 7, my Google Plus page, that's conference that I spoke at, and all the images that are PG, okay? Basically, this is what it needs to look like, and your second page needs to look like this, and your third page needs to look. Now, very few people go from the first page to the second page. That's not what I'm trying to say here. It's just that you gotta let this build an authority. You gotta be able to say, just Google my name. And that builds enough authority for you to differentiate from yourself, from the rest of the applicants, from the rest of the salespeople, really whatever you're trying to achieve. So, the plan of action. What can you do to improve your reputation and authority? Change privacy settings on Facebook. Please, please hide the public images and don't let others tag you on Facebook. It's very easy to change these settings. Create LinkedIn, Google+, Twitter accounts under your full name. If your full name is already taken, get creative. If you're associated with, let's say, FIU, put Duran Inci FIU, or Duran Inci Miami, or Duran Inci Coral Gables, or the Turkish guy that went to FIU that lives in Coral Gables, something like that, okay? But there's a way to differentiate it, believe me, and Google knows this. So it doesn't matter if your name is already taken. Go ahead. Create Flickr, Pinterest, and Instagram accounts with decent photos. I actually did this, went through this process. Not that I had photos that I didn't want visible, but I wanted to control what photos were showing, right? I wanted to show a couple of professional photos. If we go back to that slide, you'll be able to see as well. And I wanted to have one casual photo where I'm just hanging out, because I didn't want to look too business. I wanted to be personal. So you can actually do this with Flickr, Pinterest, Instagram. All you have to do is create these accounts, upload the pictures you want, Duran-Inci01.jpg, Duran-Inci02.jpg. It's that easy. Just upload it, have 10, have 3 of them casual, 7 of them business, and that's it. When somebody searches your name, that will show up. Go ahead. Google your name and check what shows up. If there's anything that you don't want there visible, contact them to remove it. If you can't remove it, you got to go after reputation management, which means you got to create a blog spot, Blogger, probably a WordPress with your name, push that listing down. You can't remove stuff from Google. The only way you can get rid of it is if you push it down. We deal with attorneys who have been arrested for DUI, ironically. Yes, they exist. And it's a big problem for them. Celebrities, really high profile people who are going through these problems because they had some party pictures 6 years ago before they got famous and they want to get rid of it. Go ahead. Create Google Alerts with your full name. Google Alerts used to be very, very bad, but now they actually fixed it. So Google Alerts work very well. So know who is mentioning your name or where it shows up. Create alerts for, again, first name, last name, Duran Inci separately, Duran Inci together, different versions, misspellings. Create those alerts so you can get them on a daily basis. Guest blogging and contributions. So if you're doing internships, if you're currently working somewhere and they have a website, say, can I write an article? I won't charge you anything. I just want to write an article. Write an article is going to have your name. If you can contribute to the university, because edu and .gov sites are very, very powerful. If you're working for the government or the city or the county, and if they have a blog, write for it. Do something with it. If you can go to the Beacon and tell them, hey, let me write for you. I want to contribute. This is what I can do. Do it. If you can't write for it, go to different blogs and put your name on comment. Even those show up on search results. So go to go to a really, really professional site like CNN or Fortune magazine and go to the comments and comment with your full name. Even that will show up on search results. At least you're trying to push all those other negative things or the things that you don't want below. Write a book. It's actually easier than you think. You could actually write a 30-page book on anything and have it published on Amazon for like $100. Nobody will buy it, but it will show up on search results because Amazon has a lot of authority. Okay, and it works. It works. We've done it before. It's $100. Start a blog, WordPress, Blogger, Blogspot. Go to GoDaddy if you haven't already done so, and register your full name, .com, not .net, not .co, not .biz, .com. If it's already taken, again, get creative, personalize it. Okay, it should start with your name. So that's Duran Inci. If that's taken, you should add something at the end. It could be your favorite number, DuranInci11.com. It's okay. DuranInciFIU.com, DuranInciGables.com. So differentiate it. Because if you create that and then you go get a hosting account that costs $80 on Hostmaster, and then if you tie it together and you install WordPress, which the script is automatic, you just click on it and it installs itself. You could literally learn how to do this in 15 hours. That's it, and you have your blog and you have it. If you don't know how to do it, I will help you do it for free. Okay? It's that easy, because this is going to make a big difference in your life in the future, no matter where you are currently. If you already have a blog, don't just have it sit there. Please write. At least write once a week. And you can write about anything. My wife does interior, is doing masters in interior architecture, interior design at FIU, and I've been begging her for 3 years to create a blog, and she's like, what am I going to write about? I'm like, I don't know, take a picture and analyze this corner, how well it has been constructed or whatever. You know, write about something, because it's going to make a difference in the future. And if she listened to me 3 years ago, now she would have close to 1,000 posts on that domain, and she would already be an interior design student who's getting about 500 people on a daily basis to her website. She would show up for all kinds of creative architecture lingo. Okay, so it's really, really easy, and it's funny that people don't do this. Go ahead. And lastly, you're looking at Lexus, right? Everybody knows this model. So the development of Lexus from '89 to 2010, their logo is the pursuit of perfection. Click. Click again. Click again. Okay, this is a European brand. From 1980 to 2010, they have the same model, right? So, you know, it's perfect from the beginning. So don't be perfect from the beginning, because whatever you're doing currently, it might not be working. Try to adapt with the technology, because the technology changes. Okay? Click again. Thank you. Any questions? I don't know how much time we have. But
You have all the time in
I
the
do?
world, yes.
What are your thoughts on cloud? I'm sure you've heard of it.
Go ahead, Jose.
Oh,
Jose is he's the SEM director at our company.
We actually got the same exact question last time we did another FIU workshop. Cloud's just a metric, and it really lost its authority. At some point in time, people would judge social media strategies with a cloud score. But what if I have 100 million followers and my cloud score is up in the roof, but each and one of those followers have nothing to do with my business or care about it? So cloud tried to measure ROI with social media, but in my opinion, heavily failed. Many argue against it. But
There are a lot of tools like that. The problem with it is not, there are so many metrics that we need to look at that differ, right? So if you're looking at it from a follower standpoint, cloud works fine, because it looks at followers and it looks at some engagement. But if you're looking at relevancy, it still cannot track that.
yeah.
There are a lot better tools, actually. If you contact us, if you email us, we'll send you better tools.
I already added you on it.
All right.
I mean, you also have to understand that cloud is a third-party service. So therefore, they would have to keep up with whatever Facebook, Twitter, and every social media company's doing. So they will have to have access not only to their API, their data, but also to their logic. So it's a lot of guesswork, unfortunately.
Go ahead.
How do you find out that the SEO has changed to like the way that Google lets the SEO go through? So like you were saying that it's changed a lot in the past 5 years. So when you start doing your SEO, like how do you know that it's changed? Like you just see that it's not going up or something?
No, well, first of all, I go to a lot of conferences. I speak at conferences. We run our own internal tests. So for example, I give you something very basic. I'll do a page and I'll put a link to another site, right? I'm testing. I come from Black Hat, by the way. Black Hat, White Hat, Black Hat is all the things that you shouldn't do that trick Google. White Hat is you are an angel and you do everything that Google wants you to do, which is you don't buy links, you don't write scripts that affect Google's decision making. So I come from a different era, right? I come from the 90s, I used to be a hacker, and without testing all that stuff, you're not going to know what works or what doesn't work. So even though I'm a white hat with my clients, I have a ton of different servers that I can do different kinds of Black Hat stuff to test it out. Does this work? Let me see, because if I do this, if I put a couple of keywords here and make it close to the link, does it rank higher? Let me go back and test it differently. So you have to constantly stay on top of it. And Jose knows this. I spend 12 to 14 hours of my time every hour, 12 to 14 hours in a day in front of a computer. I might not be working all the time. I might be reading, researching. I might be on a mobile device or my tablet. So you just have to stay on top of technology. That's the only way you will know. And that means going to conferences, speaking at conferences, speaking at professionals, reading other people. Like HubSpot is a big one. SEO Mouse is really big. They have very creative things. And the beautiful thing here is not internet marketing anymore. It's really creative marketing. There are people doing crazy things on it. There are really, really creative ambush marketing viral strategies that are being done. Any one of you saw the advertisement for Dollar Shave Club? Dollar Shave Club? Yeah. When you go home today, type Google Dollar Shave Club and watch that video. And compare it to the large companies that have billions of dollars of revenue to do advertisement and TV ads, and see which one is more creative.
Is that the one where they send you like?
The razor, yeah, they send you a razor for $1 a month. Basically, it's a startup. They're doing really, really good. They spent $15,000 on a TV ad that got them like 10 million views and I don't know, tens of thousands of orders. So you can do with small budgets a lot of good things, but you need creative people, a creative team. Go ahead.
I wanted to know, how do you test the commercial value of a keyword before you invest heavily into an SEO campaign?
Well, you don't go after a keyword. You go after an industry or you go after a medium. Okay, so for example, somebody comes to me and says, this is a recent project. Have you heard of E24 or Order Up? You basically go and you can order through any of the local restaurants. You can order from your phone or your tablet and they send it right there. So the back end of the system works like this. Let's say you own the website. Somebody comes to your website, looks at their zip code, they see all the closed restaurants, they can see which one is open, which one is closed, when they can order. They click on, let's say, Mexico Fajitas or whatever. They click and they see the menu. Now the menu, you can add stuff from your menu, and on the right-hand side, you have your cart. You buy $50 worth of stuff. It says delivery is 60 minutes. It's not Domino's, right? It's some small place that does not have a website. So what you're doing is you're leveraging from a project. You place an order, the system faxes the restaurant, because believe it's or not, some of them don't even have email. And then the order gets shipped. Excuse me. So what happens at the end of that is, if you're trying to advertise for something like that, if that's your business model, what kind of keywords do you go after? So you're going to go after, you basically have relationships with, let's say, 20 restaurants in that specific zip code or in that city. So you have to know what kind of food they serve, what kind of size they have. You target that. So when you put in the menu, you have to make sure that's optimized. So from a keyword standpoint, what we do is we do a research and we come up with 1,000 to 2,000 keywords for that specific project. Mexican restaurants in Coral Gables, or online ordering pizza. So when you think about this, you have millions of combinations of keywords. So yes, I'm not going to get pizza delivery online keyword because Domino's and Pizza Hut will kill me, but I'm trying to get those other long tail keywords. So online pizza delivery, I think it's at $10 a click right now.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the long tail?
Long tail, of course. So, usually what people want is, people who know nothing about SEO or online marketing, they will come and say, I want to rank for home mortgages on Google. And I say, so do I. Because that's billions of dollars of revenue on an annual basis. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I have $100,000. Can we do it? No, you can't do it for $100,000. You can't do it for $5 million. That term is really, really competitive. You're never going to rank for it. Just get used to it. What you can rank for is creative versions of that specific keyword. Like, which home mortgage should I get? How are home mortgage vendors different? These kinds of creative things like the how work really well online, right? The DIY, the do-it-yourself articles work very well online. They rank very well. So these are the kinds of long tail that you're looking at. If you actually go to Google, my top, the most profitable keyword for my company I'll give you a secret, it's not internet marketing services. I rank for it. It's not online marketing, it's not integrated marketing, it's not customized marketing. It is, how does SEO work? That's the most valuable keyword for me. How does SEO work? If you Google how does SEO work, I'm going to show up number one. In terms of ROI, in terms of return, in terms of the client that I've got. Now I have over 50,000 keywords that I rank for, but that's the most profitable. So then again, you never know. And the way that you can get that data, by the way, the per click value, is there's a tool called the AdWords keyword tool.
That's
You can look at it, but I wouldn't trust Google's data so much because they're just trying to sell those keywords and they really exaggerate it. Nobody's searching for white cats a million times a day. You know, that's a lie.
Yeah.
So they'll show you those metrics and it's not accurate.
I mean, what I like to do is, for example, invest in search engine marketing for the certain keywords. I'll see how much the cost per click is.
Mhm.
I'll get X amount of people, get the conversion rate, and then I'll kind of compare it to how many people would go in
Mhm.
for organic search. So I can kind of weigh out the cost of doing a backlink campaign
Mhm.
and then, just not doing it.
But that's the problem. SEO is not a backlink campaign.
Well,
It's
not
really,
necessarily.
it's
not everything. Obviously, content is king.
Yeah.
But you also need to have that outreach. You can't just post something from on top of the mountain.
Of course.
And then not
The
expect.
only thing I say is it has to be a strategy going forward. And the people who are not doing it like that, because we get those requests, can you build 50 links to us? I said, I can do it, but it's not going to do anything for you. Because you have to have a specific brand. What are your products? What are you selling? What are your services? What is your value proposition to the user that you want to sell to? What kind of a brand do you have? What kind of a brand do you want to be? Now, I'm here doing this workshop, very direct between you and me. Why am I doing this workshop? Because I love all of you? Well, partially because I love you personally. But you get the idea. I do it, number one, because I went to FIU. Number two, I want to provide value. Number three, at the end of the list is I get to write a press release about this. I get to say I spoke at FIU. I spoke at this conference. I go to conferences, they don't pay me. They're going to pay me soon, but they don't pay me today. Like, the only reason to do it is because I can build up my reputation. So one day they're going to say, Duran, come and we'll pay you. So, and again, these are the kind of things that you have two options. You can basically, based on your example, a backlink strategy, yes, it works, but there has to be a strong brand behind it. We reject so many people. We have people coming to us and say, I want to clone Facebook, I have $1 million. I mean, I could take it. I could take his $1 million, but it's not going to work. So you have to keep your reputation. You have to keep your brand clean name. It has to be clean. Any other questions? Go ahead.
How do I protect my privacy? For example, my Facebook account doesn't have my complete name.
Mhm.
So would you suggest that or when you see a prospective employee, an application, and if you see the person doesn't have a Facebook account,
Mhm.
but in my case you wouldn't find me because my name is different on Facebook.
Mhm.
What do you think of that, of the person or of the candidate?
Facebook, it does. I don't have to see the Facebook account there, but I want to see different things. Like I want to see your LinkedIn, right? I want to see your Twitter. I want to see a Blogger or a WordPress or a Blogspot. Yeah, I want to see you've written a couple of articles. I want to see that you have good written skills. You can write well. I want to see that. I want to see you can communicate well. I want to see that you're a person. You're a human being. Oh yes, I do this. I do consultation. But I also like to play the piano. That's very nice. So those are the kinds of things. It has to be personal. It can't be just business all the way, and it can't be very, very personal, like drug hours. It has to be in the middle.
You know how you said that you check someone's Twitter, and if they have less than 100 tweets,
Mhm.
that is already negating them from a position
Yes.
as a marketing company?
Yes.
I have a Facebook, I have a LinkedIn, I have a Twitter, but there's so many different things that it's, the whole Twitter thing is just, for some reason, I can't figure it out.
Well,
You
I
know
was
what I
like
mean?
you for 2 years.
I can't figure it
I'm
out.
one of the first people that opened a Twitter account, and I didn't use it for 2 years, right? I used to be exactly like you. Remember that last slide I showed with the Lada and the Lexus? So you're the Lada, right? You don't want to adapt. You're like, why am I not on Twitter? Why am I say on Twitter? Guess what? You gotta say something because that's where the trend is. That's where everybody's going. So you can reject that up to a certain point until you get into a position and they say, guess what? You're gonna open a LinkedIn account, a Twitter account, and a Pinterest account, and it's gonna be our corporate account, so we're gonna control it. And if you don't do it, you know, just like you get a position sometimes, and they'll just hand you a BlackBerry, right? You can't be like, I don't want that. I don't want you calling me off work hours. No, you're gonna get that BlackBerry and they're gonna access you off work hours. So it's just like that. The sooner you say, okay, the less painful it's gonna be.
Well, what would you recommend, sort of the same one example with the Twitter, the Twitter account, what do you recommend as like an individual?
What are you good at? What are you good at in life? Tell me something you're good at.
Video production.
Video production? We don't have that. Read an article and say, this article really shows how you can adjust the lighting or the audio equipment for video production. And just once a day, not crazy. Have it a little active. Start with once a day. Buffer is a great application for that. Because you can set it up on a Sunday. You say tweet it throughout the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, put it together and just release.
You just not schedule something every week and you don't know what's going to happen in the world.
If the alternative is that you're not even going to look at it, it's a good option. If the alternative is not doing anything, scheduling it for a week is great. I mean, it wouldn't be great for Lucia because her whole thing is social media, right? That wouldn't be great for her. She has to constantly engage. For me, somebody tweets to me, I have to write back. I go to conferences and they say, great speech, Duran. I say, thank you. Oh, it was nice to see you too. If I don't respond, I'm going to be an a-hole. So it depends, and then you have to follow that through. If somebody retweets you, or if somebody does something or says something, have it come to your phone, so you can just, 2 sentences, thank you very much. That's it. Go ahead.
Most of us are at a very tricky stage because we're kind of in the threshold of becoming going from students to kind of starting our professional life.
Mhm.
So, for example, our peers that are students as well, people we went to school with, whatever, those people that tweet 10 times a day are tweeting about what they're eating, irrelevant stuff, and you're saying this person's so annoying, why are they tweeting so much? Whereas we don't have that much professional stuff to tweet about yet. Because for example, I follow advertising executives and advertising agents and stuff, and they have relevant stuff to tweet about.
Mhm.
But I don't. and I don't want to be that person that's I'm at the gym, so how do you what do you expect us to be tweeting about? What should we be tweeting about that's not?
This would be my suggestion. Do you read a lot online? You said you follow a lot of executives or marketing executives.
Somewhat. I mean, if they post something interesting, yeah, I'll read
Okay.
it.
So what I would suggest you do is there's a Google, when you search for anything on Google, you can hit the news tab and you get the recent news, right? Or if you have an iPhone or an iPad, there's an application called Zite. It's Z-I-T as in Tom, E. Zite. Android has it too. You just adjust it and it gives you different articles, right? And an article you read and you really like it and you just hit tweet this and then you share it, but you don't only share it. In the beginning you say, this is a great way to explain marketing, great way to explain strategy management, great way to whatever it is, right?
So current events.
Current events.
Maybe have opinions about current events.
Follow the influential people. Find 50 people that you think are influential in whatever you're interested in. Music, video production, marketing, advertising, whatever it is. And follow them and retweet their stuff. Guess what? When you retweet something, it shows up on your Twitter.
So retweets count.
Retweets count, but it can't be all retweets, right?
Right.
So you have to kind of, again, there's a fine line. And guess what? You don't have to say you're going to the gym, but you can say something like, oh, I really like this billboard on I-95 that says your wife is hot. Take a picture, tweet that, right? If you're a marketer, or if you're studying marketing, wow, that's really creative. And it's funny, and people will retweet it. And you'll get engagement out of it. You'll be popular, right? So that's what we're trying to do. Go ahead.
There are tools like Hootsuite that allows you to integrate your Facebook account, your Twitter account.
Yes.
But the question is, how good is it? Because sometimes you find hashtags on Facebook, or things like that.
It depends on how you really use it. I don't use Hootsuite because I use Facebook and Twitter separately. I'm not really in Pinterest.
The idea is to do that, right?
Of course, the idea is to do that. I know that Lucia, for example, our social media strategist, and set up on.
It is really only efficient, Hootsuite, if you have a lot of accounts you have to manage. But if you really are managing your own account, I would just use maybe the Buffer app with a combination of Twitter analyzer tool. But I wouldn't really use Hootsuite if you're just managing your account, because it really is for a large volume of accounts for you to keep track and kind of not waste time, which is really big in social media. So that would be my suggestion for that. Also, I wanted to answer her question as well. Do you read the newspaper a lot? The news and stuff like that? Those are things that you can tweet about that get a lot of retweets, because Twitter is a very time-sensitive tool, and everything that is posted on Twitter has like a limit of 5 minutes. So if you post something like about that you read in the New York Times or in the Herald, it's something that would get a lot of retweets back. So I would recommend reading the newspaper and kind of tweeting those things.
This actually might be a little irrelevant, but it's out of curiosity.
Sure.
Is there any reasoning behind the implementation of the number 7 in your business?
We were established in 2007. So we said optimum, we optimized optimum. Let's use the number 7 because we're just trying to be cool.
It's a good number.
Yeah?
I actually thought that it was because you do the white hat instead of the black hat. Maybe you'd be like optimum 6 if you were doing like the bad ones.
I'm gonna say that next time.
Since you have mentioned apps like Buffer and Zip, I just wanted to let you know, I don't know, I'm sure maybe your social media
You might not know it, there are
of it.
so
There's one
many.
called Vine.
Of course. Vine is gonna sell for 50 to $500 million in 3 years. I don't know how much they're gonna sell, right? Vine, by the way, if you don't know, it's V-I-N as in Nancy E. It's basically Instagram for video. And it's very, very popular right now. How many users they have? Like 100 million users? So you can basically create like video loops with your phone. It's a really, really good idea. The only thing I can say is, why didn't we think about that? You know, we're in the industry.
They just pretty much patented the technology to later resell it.
It was not Twitter who invented, the people from Twitter who invented that, right?
They back it up.
Because I heard somebody tell me
Keep it
that.
down, guys,
They back it
please.
up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they pretty much put money in it and then the development, but their interest as Twitter is they kind of hit a threshold in terms of, well, they have a lot of engagement, but in terms of profitability, what do they have? So if Google Plus wants to do some sort of technology similar to that, they'll say, oh, no, you can't do that, we own the patents, pay up.
And if you're doing, by the way, if you're doing anything that's related to entrepreneurship or startups, there's a really good video on YouTube with the founder of Twitter talking about how he started Square.com. Square.com is how you attach a little thing to your phone and you can accept payments anywhere.
Oh, yes.
So there, if you just go to YouTube and search for Twitter founder and Square, there's an interview like 20 minutes. It's really, really good. It will give you a lot of it will give you a different perspective on how startups work. Any other questions?
Is there a reason why people use hashtags on Facebook now? Is that just like a trend?
Lucia?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Hashtags on Facebook? Like why are people doing that now?
Oh, that probably happens, and it often happens when you use the Buffer app, that you're posting the same thing on Twitter and on Facebook. Other than that, if you mean hashtags when you put @ and then the name?
Yeah, like I thought that was just like a Twitter thing and that's how you would search for.
No, it
for
just helps you with
hashtags?
visibility. Visibility-wise, if you put, for instance, I'm tweeting something about security cameras, and then I'm putting the company's name, it just helps with the exposure and the visibility aspect. It's kind of like the same thing as
But it
Twitter.
looks on Facebook the same as it does?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And then Twitter is a little more, like I said, time sensitive, so it goes faster.
I think,
So,
sorry to interrupt you, but I think what he means is the usage of actual hashtags.
Yeah, but actually using hashtags on Facebook, like, I know that you can search, yeah, the pound, I'm sorry, yeah. I know you can search for that on Twitter, but on Facebook, people are doing it as well. And I don't know, they're just throwing it in there.
Usually it carries on from Twitter, like when I repost stuff,
It shows
I don't
up on
post on
Facebook?
Facebook
Yeah.
anymore, I
Okay.
post
That's what
post Twitter.
yeah, that's
And
what
then
it
repost on Facebook, and post with the hashtag.
And some people are just.
Yeah.
I think people it's like a trend now, it's like hashtag on board, so they would use it on Twitter, and because they're on Facebook, they'll just use it, even though it has no purpose or functionality for certain kinds of but they just like this hashtag.
So in that, it's not like if you hashtag on Instagram or on Twitter, it's not leading you to the same hashtag. It's like
Instagram,
one
yeah.
for Instagram, one for Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like
if you
let's say day at the beach and you hashtag it on Twitter, it's not gonna show you the same thing as you would find on Instagram.
Not necessarily, no. If
So
you
they're not-
hashtag something on Twitter and then you actually search for that hashtag, it's gonna show you all the tweets and everything that has the same hashtag or that same keyword that you hashtag.
So it's not like interrelated among different platforms.
No. But on Facebook, you can kind of, not hashtag, but tag a name or a company. If you want to talk about Coca-Cola or something, you could put the ad, obviously, and then Coca-Cola, so then they would get notification that you tagged them. And if they approve it, you know, you could potentially get more exposure that way. That's the only way. I thought that's what you meant when you said tag or hashtag. Other than that, I wouldn't really use hashtag on Facebook.
So it's more of an exposure thing.
Yeah, it's more of an exposure thing, and
Because there's
most
probably-
companies regulate it now.
Not only to answer your question, but to build on it, when you said Instagram and Twitter, yes, they're completely unrelated, but now bear something in mind. Facebook owns Instagram at this point. So at any point in time, all that data, all those hashtags, they could just clash it with Facebook. And you have a mesh of information all in one, which is why they bought it, by the way, because they were using the data against Twitter in terms of engagement. And there's a lot that goes on.
I would like to ask, with your permission, for Lucia and what's your name?
Jose.
Jose, how did they get started? How did they get hired by you?
Oh, wow.
Like how, you know, Lucia, I'm sorry to put you on the
No,
spot,
it's okay.
but I would like for them to basically, if you could give a profile on, first of all, you know, and I don't know, are you an FIU graduate too?
No, sort of. My story's a little bit more different. But
Okay, because I know Duran and Lucia are FIU graduates. So-
Now, Lucia basically was, you know, she had a very powerful resume. She did internships. She did an internship at another company, and she had a social media background. We didn't really have a social media person because we don't really make money from social media, right? But we know that we have to kind of go there, and I have to give some credit to my partner there as well, and Lucia for sticking with it because, you know, she had a lot of negativity from me probably. Like, Lucia, come on, you know, Facebook, we gotta really do this. And I was like you, I was like, you know, from a sales standpoint, from a revenue standpoint. But it's definitely something that you have to be at because there are social signals now. So your engagement with social media actually affect your search engine rankings. It's all together. We call that social signals. So Lucia was, you know, she came in for an interview. She had a very good resume. She was very well spoken. She can write very well. If you actually go to Optimum 7 and read some of her articles, you will be impressed. She writes crazy analysis of social media strategies. Right? For brands, she analyzes brands. She analyzes what we do. We write a lot of content. Jose is a little bit different, creative. I actually met Jose at a gas station, when was it, 2 years ago? 2.5 years ago, and he was just very fast, very, he was very smart. I mean, you know, the guy was
How did the
smart.
conversation start?
I was renting a U-Haul.
it was irrelevant to the.
It was irrelevant to what we do. I just kind of saw that in him. I don't know how. But, you know, I usually go to rent a U-Haul or something happens and they take half an hour. I'm like, come on, you're just gonna give me a truck and I'm gonna drive it out. But he did it in 2 minutes. And I said, what do you do? And he said, I'm going to school right now. I'm an international student. Blah, blah, blah. I gave him my card. And then I think 2-3 weeks later, he showed up for an interview. And we started working together. And in 2 years, you know, Jose probably knows he knows most of the stuff that I know. He's very fast, he picks it up, he likes it, and he invested the time in it. So he's kind of like my right-hand guy right now. So in this industry, that is very, very, you know, very, very possible. And unfortunately, what we do is not taught in school. So, and I went to an analytics group at the president's house at FIU 2 weeks ago on Friday. It was basically FAU president, the dean of the computer science department, FAU's computer science, School of Computer Science dean. It was like 16, the city commissioner, really 16, 17 influential people got together to discuss the technology cluster in South Florida. That there's a big disconnect between the students who are graduating and actual demand, right? So we talked about that same thing, and the university, the students basically, the deans and the professors are looking at it, and I'm only talking about IT at this point, and they're saying, wow, students are great, what are you talking about? All of them go to New York and California to get jobs. So there's a brain drain where the good ones are leaving. And at the same time, I interview 5 FIU graduates, computer science, programmers or software engineers, and they know nothing. They know nothing. I mean, we interview marketing, masters in marketing, PhD in marketing, and they don't have experience. That they might have some experience in some marketing, but it's not what we're looking for. So this is not taught in school. I could not teach a strategy for, and the funny thing is this, our strategies that we use today are gonna change 6 months from now. And what we did 6 months ago is invalid today. So how can you put that in a curriculum? How can you teach a class about that? So that's really the disconnect. Now Jose is really an expert in this now. He can, he could do this presentation with no problem. He could go speak at any other conference with just 2 years of experience, or with 2 years, but he really invested in that heavily. We have people who spend 2 years and they don't grow or they don't learn it. It really depends on the individual. That's the reason we discussed all of this today. So there are probably 40 of you here, and unfortunately 30, 35 of you will go home and will do nothing about this. That's just the way statistics work. And some of you will do something about it and start investing in this, and they'll put some time and they'll create a blogger account and they'll create a hosting account. They'll email me, they'll follow up, they'll say, Duran, help me, I really want to do this, I really want to improve my authority, my reputation, my business, my startup, whatever you want to call it. And they will be successful 2 years from now. So it's just the way the numbers work.
And you're on LinkedIn?
I
All
am.
3 of you? So for my class, that you have a LinkedIn
We
core.
are all on
you
LinkedIn.
have, well, yeah, but they have a LinkedIn core. Because I make them put a
Oh, okay.
profile on LinkedIn and other things. And, okay, good.
Thank you.